Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be a little bit different. I'm obviously sat down. I've never filmed a YouTube video sat in this place, but I thought we could just get ready together and I could show you guys my everyday makeup routine. I have had quite a few questions recently on my favourite makeup product recommendations and just kind of how I do things and how I do my makeup. So yeah, I thought it'd be fun just to sit down and do a long form talking video of doing my makeup, and maybe you could put me on in the background and do your makeup with me. Obviously I'll just start this video by saying that I'm by no means saying that I'm an expert in makeup or that I'm a professional, because I'm definitely not. I just know what works for me and my face, and if you want to see how I do my everyday makeup routine, then keep on watching. Also, I had my nails done recently. How beautiful are they? First things first. Let's just get straight into it. So my moisturiser, my favourite moisturiser ever, is the Bondi Sands Face SPF. It's SPF 50, but it doesn't leave that horrible white cast like a lot of SPFs do. So if you haven't tried, then definitely try it. This is my absolute ride or die face product. I love her. Always put it down my neck as well. I always put it on first and then let it sink in while I do my eyebrows. I do the same with primer, so I'm going in with my e.l.f. Power Grip Primer with the niacinamide in it. And I absolutely love this. This is so plumping for the skin. I just feel like even on no makeup days where I literally wear no makeup, it just makes my skin feel alive. It just gives it a little bit of bounce, and it's so tacky. So I always put it on and then I can do my eyebrows while it sinks into the face a little bit. Look at that glow that we're getting already. Love her. It's ice cold as well. It's gonna be kind of hard to explain how I do my eyebrows while I'm doing them, but my three ride or die brow products are the e.l.f. Camo Concealer to carve them out. Then I've got this MUA brow pencil. It's not specific to this one, but I just love how skinny this eyebrow pencil is. I don't know if you can see that, but it's so thin, and that's the kind of eyebrow pencil that I like to go for. And then this clear mascara is crusty dusty now, but it's from Collection and it's just a clear lash and brow mascara. I always use a flat brush as well to carve my brows out. So literally what I'll do is I'll just get the concealer and just start to roughly place this under the eyebrows. Don't get too close, because you can use the brush to kind of get all up in the brows. Just place it where I want it. I always like to carve out just the top end half of my eyebrows, just because I like the way that looks. Then I'll just get the brush. I do need to use a closer up mirror because the mirror behind you is quite far away. And then I will literally just carve out carefully underneath, and then I will join them in the middle, and it just makes my eyebrows look a little bit more even, but just completely cover my eyelid. I've also got a spot here, so I'm just gonna pre-conceal with a little bit of concealer. Then I just take my Coco Cosmetics by Chloe, I think it's called Clomana now, this sponge. It's literally the best sponge I've ever used. I don't use a wet sponge or a damp sponge. I used to. I think I'm just lazy now, to be honest with you, but it seems to work fine for my makeup. So, and then you can see it's just very blended out. Then I'll take my Revolution Peach Powder and just a little fluffy brush and just tap this across my eyelid, so then my eyes are pretty much set, and I'll just go up towards that arch, but I don't take it on top yet because obviously I've got more products to put on my face yet. Then when it comes to filling them in, obviously this is generally personal preference, how much you like to fill your brows in, but I generally start with the tail because that's where I'm kind of missing some hair, and I follow the shape. I don't change the shape of my brows too much, but I just fill in the sparse areas and kind of bring it a little bit lower, so that it makes my brow look a little bit thicker. And then when it comes to the front, I just really lightly, it's really hard to talk and do this at the same time, draw these brow strokes. This pencil is so thin, it generally looks like brow hairs. Then I will just run gently the clear brow gel through and just create that final shape that I want. But yeah, hopefully you can see the difference in my brows. I'm gonna go and finish this brow off camera because you don't need to see me do both, but that is just a general way that I like to do my brows. Brows are done, onto base. So what I like to use before I go in with foundation is this Technic Pro Filter. It's like the Charlotte Tilbury dupe. I've never actually tried the original one. I feel like if I did try the original, it'd probably really be good, but this just gives a really nice even base and a really nice glow before I put my foundation on. And I'm going to blend it in with my Technic Kabuki brush. I just kind of like buff it into the skin. My skin's really nice and tacky from the primer that I put on, which is just beautiful. Whoa. You'll notice how this just like really evens out my skin tone whilst adding the glow. Now this is all blended. Hopefully you can see the difference in the skin now and how more radiant and just like I look like I'm alive, right? I don't look like I've just rolled out of bed, had no sleep, and yeah. This product is so nice on no makeup days as well because it just, like I said, evens out that skin tone. Also, please ignore the background. I am currently in the process of creating a little beauty room, so hopefully by the time we next do a makeup video, I'll have a nicer background, but bear with me on that one. Onto foundation. Okay, so for foundation, I generally go between two types. This is my NARS Radiant Longwear Foundation. She's like full glam, full beat sort of vibe. And this is my Technic Triple Wave Serum Foundation. I've only recently discovered this. I say recently, probably like a month or so ago, but this is just so good. So I do tend to save my NARS Radiant Longwear for full glams. We'll do a full glam video at some point and we can use her, but this Technic Triple Wave Foundation, I recommend it to literally everybody. It's like £6.50 I think, which is just stupid for a foundation. I've got the shade medium and the shade beige I go between. I generally sometimes mix them, but it's just stunning. You'll see it as soon as I put it on the skin. I'm just going to take a squirt of medium and a squirt of beige. Just chuck it on my sponge. Again, it's not a wet sponge, but I just tap it into the skin. I try not to swipe. I generally like just try and like push it into the skin because that's where I find that it like sits best. If you kind of like are swiping with your sponge or your brush, I feel like it can end up a bit streaky. You'll be able to see what good coverage it has as well. For like the price, I just, like I said, I literally recommend it to everybody because I just swear by it so much. And obviously it is a serum foundation, so it's like nice and hydrating on the skin. I will say I don't have crazy oily skin. I'm more on the drier side if anything, so I don't know what it would be like for you oily skin girls, but look at that coverage and the glow. Like it just looks radiant and still like skin-like. I'm not one of those girls who likes to wear no makeup as such. I either generally wear no makeup or you can see that I'm wearing makeup, and I quite like that. I like the look of makeup set on my skin, but also you kind of want it every day to look like your skin but just better, if that makes sense. Then I'm going to go back in with my e.l.f. camo concealer. This is the hydrating camo concealer in the shade medium peach, and I generally just put this. I don't tend to put loads of concealer under my eyes just because otherwise it's like too heavy. I will just put this anywhere I've got any like spots or anything I want covering. So all on my chin. I think this is like hormonal acne, I'm not sure, but she can go for today. I get quite a lot of like discoloration like around my nose, so I generally just put it like that. Taking the same sponge that this is going to be a pattern I use for everything. And just tap that in again. This is where I don't like swipe. I always try and like tap it in because that's where I find that I can keep the most coverage and like the most product in the place that I've actually put it. I just love this concealer. I've tried a good few other concealers recently and they just don't hit the same as this one. Nothing beats my e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer. But I'm open to it. I'm open to your concealer recs. I just haven't found one so far that actually really beats my e.l.f. Hydrating Camo. I'd also love to know like how much makeup you like to wear on a daily basis. Like, are you like a full glam, full beat sort of girl every single day? Are you a no makeup unless it's an occasion? Or are you like me where you put a good amount of makeup on every day, like a full beat but not like full glam? Because that's where I sit and that's where I just love doing makeup. There's just nothing better. This has got to be the star of the show. This is my Primark foundation and contour stick in the shade Chai. Now, if you know me in person, you probably have been recommended this and probably been forced to buy it, so you probably have got one. Just because I literally swear by this. It's so creamy, so easy to use, and the way it just sits on the skin is just beautiful. So this is obviously cream contour. I obviously don't use it for foundation, but I will like dab it on rather than swiping it again because that can kind of take up foundation or whatever you've got underneath. I will just dab it, and I will just dab it in a line. And that might look kind of scary because obviously you don't want a harsh line of contour. You don't want like a harsh orange line, but trust the process. I will just put it in a line so that then it's creating that sort of contour look, and then put it on my forehead, and then I will also take it on my eyelid and like drag it up around my temples, and then I just drag it down my nose, just like a little line, and then a bit on the end of my nose, and I kind of bring the contour so that when I'm facing forward you can see that I've put it on my face, and you'll see when I blend it out it'll be fine, but she does look wild right now. I'm going to take my Spectrum brush that is so grotty. I need to get a new brush or clean this one, and it's like a more dense brush so that when I pat it into the skin there's not like too much movement on my face. It's like keeping the product where I've put it. So if you can see how easy this is to blend out already, I literally, again, I'm not like swiping, I'm like patting it into the skin, and I will just leave this line just to sit there for a little bit. Then I will just take like the corner of my brush and go along my temples with that. And even though that I've put a bit of powder on my eyelids, it does still sit really well on top of that powder, which is really good. And then again, just patting this in, not going like too close to my eyebrow, but close enough that I haven't got like a harsh line of concealer to contour. I guess this is cream bronzer, not even cream contour, because contour you generally, it's a similar thing, isn't it? But you like put it a little bit lower down and it's more like ashier tones for like a shadow. But I always skip that. I just generally cream bronze. I just love to be a bronzed queen. Give me all the bronzer in the world. If you've got slick back, you kind of want to blend it gently into the hairline without making the hairline orange. Like, don't overdo it, but you don't want to leave a white ring. I'm going to take this same brush and just gently try and keep the product like where I've put it, but just buff it in. If you can see, like, you can still see those lines, which is obviously what gives the like nose contour, nose bronzer, whatever we're calling it. And like now you can see, you can still see that like contour line, but it's not crazy harsh, which is what I love. And I will take the opposite end of my sponge and just gently like dab over my nose and like round where I've put my concealer, just to blend out those harsh edges. Cream blush, I'm going to go in with my favourite at the moment, which is my Primark cream blush in the shade Rose. It's this one that kind of opens up. This brush, I'm not actually sure where this is from. It just looks like a random brush, but this is the end that it looks like. And then I literally just dab into this, and then I just like gently tap this, obviously wherever I want it. I try and keep it quite high on my cheekbones, but I also bring it a tiny bit under the eye, just because I like for it to all look like really cohesive rather than a like block of blush, if that makes sense. Because I also love to look blushy. You can even take it a little bit onto your eyelids just to tie the whole look in. Tiny bit on my nose, just so it doesn't look out of place. She is absolutely stunning. Love this. Powder to set my face. I'm going to use my Revolution Peach Powder. This is just stunning on the skin and it's so affordable. Don't get me wrong, I love Laura Mercier translucent powder. I don't have any of that left, but when I'm feeling bougie, absolutely love to use that. That's the kind of like full glam powder I use, but not every day. So I just tap into this powder pot with my Trigwell powder puff, tap it off on my hand, and then what I would have done if I was prepared is kind of blend out the creases under my eye with this sponge, so that then I'm not setting those creases in place. And then I'm going to kind of press this powder into the skin, again not swiping, just like pressing it into the skin. I think I'm running low of this as well. I also take this on the powder puff around my nose, because again that's generally where some of the makeup can start to lift on me. It all depends where like the makeup starts to lift on you first and kind of where you need to set more. If you can see now how smooth and like blurred this under eye is compared to this one, where you can still see the product and you can kind of see my under eye a little bit. This is obviously so much more like filtered and smooth. Okay, and then I'm going to take this massive fluffy Spectrum brush. This is the A01 brush, and this is like perfect for all over powder. And then dust it off so that then I'm not laying loads of powder on my face, and then just go over the rest of my face where I want to be a little bit more mattified. Okay, then powder bronzer. I have been going between two at the moment, but this is just the one I reach for the most, which is the Collection Bronze Glow. She's very well used. This is in the shade Terracotta. I'm taking that same brush, big fluffy brush, just tap this off and then gently just tap this all over the places that I did the cream bronzer. Take it down my neck to make sure everything is blended. Also take that fluffy brush, which is also a Spectrum brush, and just take that bronzer and run it through my crease, just again to kind of tie the whole makeup in together. Then I can also run that down my nose to redefine that cream bronzer. Blush has got to be my Primark blush in the shade True Peach. Honestly, bury me in this freaking blush. It's just stunning. Just taking this random brush, it's not very helpful, but it's like kind of fluffy, kind of dense, and then just tap into this, tap it off so it's not like crazy pigmented, and then just place that exactly where I put the cream blush. It just like re-intensifies that blush, and I feel like this peach shade also ties in really nicely with the shade of like the bronzers that I've used, which means that it just kind of like all sits really nicely together, in my humble opinion. I'm just going to spray my face with this e.l.f. Stay All Night Setting Mist to kind of melt everything together and obviously help it last. I don't like drench my face in this, but I like my skin to be wet so that then I know that it's kind of like locking in all of my makeup. And I just love the way it melts all the powders together into the skin. Last step is lips. I'm going to line my lips with my Morphe lip liner in the shade Sweet Tea. I have a feeling that this has been discontinued. If it hasn't, then definitely try and get your hands on it because it's literally like the perfect everyday lip liner. And then just gonna do the trick where I take the powder puff with the remaining of the powder on to kind of set that down and then re-lip line. That will just kind of help it last throughout the day when you're like eating and drinking. And then a lip gloss I've been loving at the moment is this lip tint in the shade Light Brown from Primark. It's melon scented, which is like really sweet, a little bit sickly, but I love the way that it looks on the lips. So glossy, and eyelashes are curled because I'm not an everyday mascara girly, but obviously if you are, you can just go ahead and put mascara on now. But I'm either a lashes or no mascara kind of girl. This is my full beat everyday makeup, all done. Let me know what you think, and if you found the video helpful, if you learned anything, if you just liked being here and doing our makeup together, which I absolutely loved. So here's a little bit more of a close-up of the makeup and what the skin looks like. Yeah, thanks for joining me while I do my makeup, and hopefully I will see you in my next video.